I'm a valuable commodity. I go across the middle. I see a dude coming at me, trying to on me.
The world knows I pled guilty for the count of forcible touching, kissed a waitress.
And the Oscar goes to Cuba Gooding Jr. and Jerry.
Through what you put me through, but I'm here and I'm happy. I just want to, here we go, okay, the studio.
Cuba Gooding Jr. had it all. Undeniable charm, raw talent, and that unforgettable Oscar-winning moment that had Hollywood eating out of his hand. Aside from the success he also had, multiple sexual misconduct allegations that sent his reputation into free fall.
We all just reflected on where we had been. The DA had continued to ask for women to come forward with any interactions, like a siren call.
30 women came.
So, how did the guy who once stole the show in Jerry Maguire end up with more headlines about court cases than movie roles? Was it the Oscar curse, bad career moves, or something way darker? Let's get into it.
Please, thank you, I'm sorry to bother you, Nikki. These are better words you use. You come to my club without...
Cuba Gooding Jr. was born in the Bronx, New York City. His mother Shirley was a singer, and his father, Cuba Gooding Sr., was the lead singer of a soul music group called The Main Ingredient. His grandfather came from Barbados. He grew up with 3 siblings, April, Omar, and Thomas. When Cuba was a little boy, his family moved to Los Angeles. His father's music group had a big hit song, Everybody Plays the Fool.
My father had a #1 song, Everybody Plays the Fool, right? All over the radio, everything was good.
But after 2 years, his father left the family. His mother had to raise him and his siblings alone. Cuba went to 4 different high schools. He was smart and became class president in 3 of them. At 13 years old, he became a born-again Christian. Before acting, Cuba was a breakdancer. He performed with famous singer Lionel Richie at the 1984 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. He also studied Japanese martial arts for 3 years. But later, he decided to focus on acting. At the start of his acting career, he got small roles in TV shows. He appeared in Amen and MacGyver.
I was your babysitter.
I'd have taken you out then if I had the money.
He also had a small role in the comedy movie Coming to America. Even though these were small roles, they helped him become a better actor. Cuba worked hard and did not give up. Soon, he got bigger roles and became famous. Hollywood helped make him a star, but it also played a big part in his downfall. At the same time, Gooding also made choices that hurt his own career and personal life. He first gained attention for his roles in TV shows like Hill Street Blues and MacGyver. But his big break came when he starred in John Singleton's film Boys and the Hood. The movie was a huge success, and it made people see him as a serious actor with real talent. After that, Gooding continued to shine. He landed roles in major films like A Few Good Men, a courtroom drama directed by Rob Reiner and written by Aaron Sorkin. He also starred in Outbreak, a thriller about a deadly virus. During the early years of his career, he took on different roles in movies that helped him gain respect in the industry. Some of his notable films during this time included A Few Good Men, Gladiator, Judgment Night, Lightning Jack, and Outbreak. These movies showed that he could play different types of characters, making him one of the most promising actors in Hollywood. Everything changed for Cuba in 1996 when he played Rod Tidwell in the famous movie Jerry Maguire. This role made him a household name and earned him an Academy Award, also known as an Oscar, for Best Supporting Actor in 1997. Winning an Oscar is a big deal in Hollywood. It means an actor has reached the highest level of success and is recognized as one of the best.
And the Oscar goes to...
However, not everyone was happy with Cuba's win. Some people whispered that the Oscar was given to him because of favoritism and that other actors deserved it more. But in the end, an Oscar win is an Oscar win, and Cuba proudly walked onto the stage to collect his trophy. Winning an Oscar can change an actor's life forever, but Cuba's case was different after his Oscar win. Many thought this award would open doors for him and lead to even bigger and better movies. However, things didn't turn out the way everyone expected. Instead of his career reaching new heights, Cuba's life and career started going in the wrong direction.
To turn down
You know,
Spielberg, doesn't it?
I think what happens is you get caught up in the hoopla of the award seasons, and you literally, in your mindset, you think you're here.
After his Oscar win, Cuba was in high demand. Directors wanted to work with him, and he had many opportunities to choose from. But with great fame comes great pressure. The excitement of being a Hollywood star got to his head. The attention, the parties, and the fame became a big part of his life. He started making choices that would later hurt his career. Instead of carefully picking the right movies, he started focusing too much on his new superstar status.
Yeah. So I said no to Spielberg with Amistad, you know, but you live and you learn. Michael Mann wanted me to be with Ali and Will Smith and Ali as Budina Brown. I said no to him, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Takes a little
happens.
guts to turn down
You know,
One of the biggest mistakes Cuba made was turning down important movie roles. Many well-known directors wanted him in their films, but he kept saying no. For example, the famous director Steven Spielberg wanted Cuba to be in his movie Amistad, but Cuba refused the offer. Another director, Michael Mann, wanted him to be in Collateral, but Cuba turned it down as well. Then came Hotel Rwanda, a powerful movie about a real-life hero who saved many people during a war. Terry George, the director, asked Cuba to be part of it, but once again, Cuba said no.
We have been abandoned. There will be no rescue. We can only save ourselves.
One of the biggest missed opportunities in Cuba's career was The Last King of Scotland. He was offered the lead role, but he didn't want to play a character that was seen as a villain. The role was later given to Forest Whitaker, who went on to win many awards, including an Oscar. There were also offers for Cuba to play major roles in Ray and Ali, both movies that won awards and were praised by critics. But Cuba rejected them as well, thinking they were not the right fit for him.
To turn down
You know,
Spielberg, doesn't it?
I think what happens is you get caught up in the hoopla of the award seasons, and you literally, in your mindset, you think you're here.
In an interview with The Guardian, Cuba explained why he rejected so many good roles. He said he didn't want to take just any role and wanted to protect the sanctity of that golden statue. In other words, he wanted to prove that he was not just lucky to win an Oscar. He wanted to show that he truly deserved it. He wanted to pick only the best roles to show his talent. But this decision backfired.
Me, that Academy Award, I always think of it now when I look at it. I think of that scene in Saving Private Ryan, one of my favorite films of all time. Tom Hanks is dying and he looks up to Matt Damon and he said, "Earn this." And that's how, when I look at that award, I go, "Earn this, kid."
What Cuba didn't realize was that turning down too many good roles would hurt his career. In Hollywood, directors and producers don't like working with actors who seem too difficult or picky. If an actor says no too many times, Hollywood moves on and finds someone else. This is exactly what happened to Cuba. Big directors stopped calling him, and his name was removed from the list of top actors. Soon, the big movie offers stopped coming. Cuba, who once had Hollywood at his feet, was now struggling to find good roles. He had gone from an Oscar-winning actor to someone who had trouble finding work. In the same interview with The Guardian, Cuba admitted that he went through financial problems because of this.
I didn't work. Now, let's say...
How broke are you at this point?
I was broke. And I had...
His career took a sharp turn, and he started appearing in movies that were not as successful. Many of these films went straight to DVD or streaming services instead of being shown in big theaters. His name was removed from the list of actors that top directors wanted to work with. The offers that once came easily stopped. In an interview with The Guardian, Cuba admitted that he struggled with money.
Doing anything I can to make ends meet. And here I am doing...
For almost 10 years, Cuba was blacklisted. In Hollywood, being blacklisted means no one wants to hire you, and it can destroy an actor's career. To survive, he had to take roles in movies that he didn't really like. Many of these films were low budget and went straight to DVD. One example was his role in the 2009 movie Wrong Turn at Tahoe, which didn't do well. During this time, he was no longer a top actor. Many saw him as a B-list star, far from the success he once had.
Right? They got A-lists, and they say B-list and C-list, but basically
Looking back, Cuba now realizes that saying no to those directors was a big mistake. He didn't know it would hurt his career so much. For a long time, it seemed like his Hollywood days were over. But then, things changed. A new group of directors came into the industry, and they were willing to give him a second chance. Slowly, Cuba started to rebuild his career. His comeback began with strong roles in important films. He played key roles in The Butler and Selma. But his biggest success came when he played O.J. Simpson in The People vs. O.J. Simpson. These projects brought him back into the spotlight.
You want to make this a black thing? Well, I'm not black. I'm OJ.
Hollywood seemed ready to forgive him and let him back in. While his career was improving, his personal life was falling apart. In 2014, his wife, Sarah, decided to leave him after 20 years of marriage. They had 3 children together, but their relationship could not survive. Many believed the reason for their divorce was Cuba's infidelity. Some even said that he had been unfaithful just 3 days after they got married. After the divorce, Cuba's behavior became worse.
You know, in 2013, separated from my wife of 20-something years, 2017, 18, my father passes away.
He started making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Several women accused him of inappropriate and creepy behavior. The once beloved actor now faced serious accusations that damaged his reputation. His career may have recovered, but his personal life remains troubled. Cuba Gooding Jr. is in trouble again. This time, it's not just women accusing him. A man has also come forward with claims against the actor. This isn't the first time Cuba has been in this kind of situation. Back in 2019, several women accused him of inappropriate behavior. But now, thanks to a new law, 2 more people have filed a fresh lawsuit against him.
The NYPD investigation continues into the allegation against Cuba Gooding Jr. And claims that Cuba Gooding Jr. walked up to her and grabbed her breasts, and then an argument ensued, and she says that security had to break.
In June 2019, things went really bad for Cuba. He was at a bar in Times Square when a woman accused him of touching her without permission. That alone was serious, but it didn't stop there. Another woman made a similar accusation, adding more trouble for him. Instead of going to jail, Cuba took a plea deal to avoid a harsher punishment. That means he admitted to some wrongdoing, but got a lighter sentence. Now, years later, the Adult Survivors Act is allowing 2 more alleged victims to take legal action. One of the new lawsuits involves an incident from 2018. A woman who worked as a cocktail waitress at Lavo, a popular restaurant and nightclub in New York, said Cuba forced his tongue into her mouth without her permission. That's a serious accusation.
Charles, is Cuba had been at this establishment for a while. It's a bar, and he was drinking. He was heavily intoxicated.
When the case was in court, Cuba pleaded guilty to a forcible touching charge. And if that wasn't enough, court records even show a transcript of what he admitted to. When the judge asked him about the incident, Cuba openly said, "I kissed the waitress on her lips." He also confirmed that he did it without her consent. That's a big deal because it shows he acknowledged what happened. Then there's another accusation from 2019. A woman named Kelsey Harbert said she met Cuba at the Magic Hour rooftop bar and lounge. She was excited to meet the famous actor, but things took a bad turn quickly. Harbert ended up sitting next to Cuba's girlfriend, and that's when, according to her, Cuba crossed the line. She claimed he reached over and grabbed her breast without her permission.
Claims that Cuba Gooding Jr. walked up to her and grabbed her breasts, and then an argument ensued, and she says that
she was completely shocked. She said it made her feel like she was nothing more than an object. Harbert didn't wait too long to take action. Within a week, she went to the police and filed a report. Eventually, Cuba pleaded guilty in this case too. Now, these two women are taking things further with a civil lawsuit. This type of lawsuit isn't about sending someone to jail, it's about getting financial compensation for the harm they suffered. Cuba admitted in court that the physical contact was non-consensual, meaning it happened without the women agreeing to it. The women are asking for money for a few things, including damages for assault and battery, lost wages, and the emotional pain they went through.
I don't want anybody to feel that they've been treated inappropriately or harassed by me in any way. I love my fans. I love men and women, all of my fans.
They also want Cuba to pay their attorney's fees. Cuba's legal team hasn't said much about the lawsuit. So far, they haven't responded to the media. But the women's lawyer, Gloria Allred, has been very vocal. She's made it clear that her clients aren't going to back down. She said they didn't get the justice they wanted from the criminal case, so now they're trying to get it through this lawsuit.
What they saw on the tapes, and the person obviously went ahead with putting out a warrant for my arrest.
With all this legal trouble, Cuba's reputation is taking a hit. People are even saying that he might have to defend himself against a new claim from a man named Jones. If that turns out to be true, things could get even worse for him. A new lawsuit like that could seriously damage his name and career. Right now, Cuba Gooding Jr. is in a very difficult position, and it doesn't look like things will get better anytime soon.
I was a moron,
right.
Yes. I was
drinking a lot.
And I don't do.
Cuba made a deal with the court and avoided jail time. He pleaded guilty to a lesser charge, and now, after following the court's rules, he is free without a criminal record. Gooding had to complete 6 months of counseling for alcohol and behavior problems. The prosecutor said that he did everything required and even continued therapy beyond the court's demand. She said his therapist gave good reports about his progress. If he had not followed the deal, he could have faced up to 1 year in jail.
These are the ABCs of me, baby! I do not dance, and I do not start preseason without a contract!
Now let's talk about his career. One of his most loved movies was What Dreams May Come, 1998. This was a deep and emotional film about love and the afterlife. In 2000, he starred in Men of Honor with Robert De Niro. In 2001, he played Doris Miller, a real-life hero from World War II in Pearl Harbor. That same year, he was in Rat Race, a funny movie about a group of people in a crazy race to find money. In 2002, he did a family movie called Snow Dogs, which was about a man who inherits sled dogs. It was not loved by critics, but families enjoyed it, and it made a lot of money. In 2003, he starred in The Fighting Temptations, a movie about a man who has to lead a church choir. That same year, he played a man with a mental disability in radio, a role that got a lot of attention. Cuba Gooding Jr. also tried different things. He did voice acting for a Disney movie, Home on the Range, 2004, where he played a funny horse named Buck. He also acted in a video game about asthma called The Quest for the Code.
See how oxygen is delivered throughout your entire body. Let's turn around and head back up the bronchi.
While he had many successful films, he also made some movies that people did not like. Chill Factor, Boat Trip, Norbit, and Daddy Day Camp, 2007, were all criticized. Most of them did not do well in theaters. As time went on, he started appearing in more direct-to-DVD movies instead of big Hollywood films. However, he still had some great roles. In American Gangster, 2007, he played a small part, but the movie was very successful. In 2009, he played Ben Carson in Gifted Hands. The Ben Carson story, a TV movie about the famous surgeon. People liked his performance in that role.
So you finished?
Yes.
Fine.
In 2012, he returned to big films with Red Tails, a movie about the Tuskegee Airmen, a group of black pilots in World War II. That same year, he filmed a TV pilot called Guilty, but the show was never made. He also appeared on a British TV show where he sang Bad Romance with singer Lulu. In 2013, he had a small role in Lee Daniels' The Butler, which was a hit. He also acted on Broadway for the first time, working with famous actress Cicely Tyson. He continued to play important roles, including a lawyer in Selma, 2014, a historical film about Martin Luther King Jr., and the Civil Rights Movement.
Ready.
Dr. King!
I tell you, that white boy can hit.
One of his biggest TV roles came in 2016 when he played O.J. Simpson in American crime story The People, v. O.J. Simpson. While some people did not like his performance, he was nominated for an Emmy Award. After that, he acted in more TV shows and even performed in Chicago, a popular musical in London, and then he directed his first movie, Bayou Caviar. That same year, he was a guest on a TV show celebrating its 100th episode. Over the years, Cuba Gooding Jr. has had a career filled with highs and lows. Even though he faced challenges, he continued to work in the industry and try new things.
Me, that Academy Award, I always think of it now when I look at it. I think of that scene in Saving Private Ryan, one of my favorite films of all time. Tom Hanks is dying and he looks up to Matt Damon and he said, "Earn this." And that's how, when I look at that award, I go, earn this, kid.
There are also those who think that part of his downfall happened because he wanted to expose certain secrets about powerful people in Hollywood. If this is true, then he may have faced consequences for speaking out. Gooding himself once said, "No one prepares you for success. That's why you see a lot of actors who star in movies and then disappear." He also compared his situation to athletes who make millions of dollars and then lose everything. According to him, success can be hard to handle if you're not ready for it.
So I was too precious about that title when I should have just worked, just kept working with great directors. Yeah.
Can we talk about your dad?
Sure.
Iconic musician, legendary soul singer, an inspiration to a lot of folks.
But being part of the Hollywood elite also meant being exposed to its darker side. Some believe that Gooding may have learned things that he wasn't supposed to know. Others suggest that he made the mistake of speaking too openly about the things he witnessed. If true, this could have made him a target. Some fans have theories about why Gooding's career took a downward turn. One person said that winning an Oscar too early in a career can be a curse. According to this theory, when actors win an Oscar at a young age, they sometimes become overconfident.
And the Oscar goes to Cuba Gooding Jr. and Jerry Maguire.
Instead of continuing to work hard and take on different roles, they start turning down projects, thinking they are too good for them. This could explain why Gooding's career started to fade. Another fan pointed out that Gooding made bad choices by rejecting roles that could have kept his career strong.
I became Academy Award winner, Cuba Gooding Jr., so I was too precious about that title when I should have just worked, just kept working with great directors.
There is also the possibility that Gooding's downfall was not just about his choices, but also about powerful figures in Hollywood who wanted to silence him. Some believe that because he refused to play by Hollywood's rules, the industry turned against him. He has even said that some white actors who did worse things than him managed to avoid consequences. This made him feel like he was being treated unfairly.
These are the ABCs of me, baby! I do not dance, and I do not start pre-season.
The timing of the accusations against Gooding has also raised questions. Some people think it is strange that so many allegations came out at once. This has led some to believe that his troubles were not just the result of his actions, but also of a bigger effort to remove him from Hollywood. The entertainment industry has a long history of protecting some people while destroying others. There are other actors and celebrities who have faced similar situations. Many stars who have spoken out against powerful figures in Hollywood have found themselves facing serious consequences. Some have lost their careers, while others have had their reputations destroyed.
I pled guilty for the count of forcible touching, kissed a waitress.
If Gooding was trying to expose something, it is possible that he became a target as a result. Whatever the truth may be, there is no denying that he was once a talented actor with a bright future. He reached the top, but he also fell hard.